We have lots of crazy conversations, but this time you're invited. You're listening to your favorite mother-daughter duo, the Crozier Girls.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at us. We're getting pretty good at this.
I know.
Except we did have to wait like 10 minutes for Micah to finish his game of Fortnite before we could use his computer. So anyway, they got third place, in case you were wondering. They got third place.
No, I was. Yeah, that's good. I'm proud of them.
It's funny you're in your pajamas because it's so late there.
Yeah. About to go to bed. I'm already showered and everything.
Oh, that's funny. Well, how's your day been?
Been good.
Did you go to church this morning?
Mm-hmm. To church and saw some of my friends, and it was it was good. Came back, cleaned.
Okay. Did you watch Hebron's sermon this morning?
Yeah, I did. I did. If I don't live stream it like live the day of, then I can't watch it for several days. So I live streamed it.
It's cool.
Right
I didn't know you live streamed it. So when we're sitting there watching and worshiping, you're with us. Oh,
yeah. I mean, good. This is like probably the second time I've actually been able to stream it live. Usually I just watch it.
Right, because you're traveling.
Yeah.
How's the weather there? Is it still cooler?
It was hot today. I was like sweating in church. So.
I guess it's too much to ask for it to be cool when we're there.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
it's so funny because at Hebron I'm always freezing my butt off, and then here I'm like dying of heat, like chugging water in church because it's like a hike to church. Well, it's like cooler in there than the outside, but it's not. It's barely AC, like barely any AC, and it's like a good 25-minute walk, and it's like the last 10 minutes are uphill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like sweating when I get there. So
yeah. Huh. Well, we pulled up to church this morning, and I got out, and I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot my sweater. And I never forget a sweater or a cardigan or a jacket of some sort to put on during the service, but this morning I did, so I was kind of chilly in there for sure.
It's unfortunate. We had opposite
I know.
Experiences.
Did I ever tell you that my Connect group of rising senior girls had a bedazzling party where they all got together to bedazzle rubber duckies? And Addie sent me a video. I know, they're so cute. They have the best parties, these girls. Like,
how did they come up with that, and why? And
I don't know. They just it's fun.
That's
like,
so funny.
How is it not fun to just sit and stick rhinestones all over rubber ducks? I don't know.
No, that's awesome.
They were doing that, but Addie sent me a video. Do you want to know what they were listening to while they were bedazzling their ducks?
What were they listening to?
Crozier Girls podcast.
Your entire small group of girls. Oh my gosh.
And this morning, Dad asked them, so I heard you guys were having some kind of party and you were listening to the Crozier Girls podcast. And one of the girls, Sweet Joy Beth, said, yeah, it was actually funny.
It was actually not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she was saying. It was
that's
hilarious.
That's so funny.
And they told me, they were like, yeah, no one was talking. Like, we were literally just sitting there quietly bedazzling the ducks and listening to the podcast.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
They're the best. These girls are the
well,
best.
if any of them are listening, shout out. Yeah.
Shout out to my girls. You know who you are. Hebron Church Rising Senior Girls. So anyway,
that's
I love them.
So funny.
Yeah. I've been with those girls since 6th grade.
I know. That's crazy.
They're probably so ready to move on to their college groups to get rid of me.
I was about to say, I mean, I was kind of ready when I had you get rid of 3 years in middle school. Yeah, I was kind of ready to get rid of you. I was like, give me another leader. I see this lady all the time at my house.
Listen, guess what? I was ready to get rid of you too. So it was a mutual agreement.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this has worked well because it was, Dad had Micah 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then Dad and I talked about it and prayed about it. And we just really felt like the Lord was calling us to stay with this group for the whole time, 9th through 12th. But we did ask Micah. We went to him. are you okay with it? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine with it. So, Micah's so chill. So
he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, he literally does not care. So anyway, yep, it's sweet girls. So anyway, I got to tell you this story though. Micah had a work shift last week. Rebekah, this is going to blow your mind. Okay.
Okay, I'm scared.
I tried to get him to come on the podcast and tell the story, but he was like, no, I'm not doing that. So Micah comes home from work and he starts telling me that he's in the drive-thru and this older African-American lady comes through his line and she starts telling him how handsome he is. Like over and over, I kept saying, you're so handsome. You're so handsome. Over and over to him. And then a little bit later, another lady comes through the line, same demographic, basically says the same thing to him, only takes it a step further. I know. He's
like, am I being pranked?
Exactly. She says, you're so handsome. You remind me of my friend's son. He's so handsome and attracts all the girls, but just make sure you're not a player. And then she says, make sure you find a good wife, but be careful because all the girls around here are beep. Yeah. Is that not hilarious? I was like, what is up, Micah? And she was like, you're so tall. You're so handsome.
Oh, my gosh. That's so interesting.
Can you imagine Micah, who's like so sweet and so quiet? I'm sure he turned bright red.
Well, so yeah. Funny. What did he say? Like, thank you?
Yeah, he just told her, okay, thank you.
Nothing like getting dating advice in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru from an older person.
So true. Thought you would enjoy that little story.
Make Micah feel good. He's like, oh yeah, I'm so handsome.
Did you order anything over Amazon Prime Days?
No. Should I have?
Well, I don't know. Did you need stuff? I don't know. We had a lot of packages arriving here, mostly stuff for McKinney for his house because, he's moving to a house. He's got to have a bed and a mattress and all the things, a laundry hamper, all the things. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I did order a weighted vest. And I don't know if you are aware of this, but menopausal middle-aged women, weighted vests are all the rage for my demographic. So
is there a scientific reason or it's just like a trend?
Yeah, I think so. I think because when you wear it, just even to do housework or when you go on a walk, it's just an added layer of fat burning and it's good for your heart, your cardio. It helps for strength because that's the big push right now is during menopause, your body starts to lose muscle and lose strength. And then obviously you're at risk for falls or for all these other injuries as you get older. And so the big push is like we, especially at this stage, need to be strengthening our bodies. We need to be lifting weights and doing all these things. So the weighted vest is just another layer of like helping us get stronger. So I have my weighted vest, but I can't walk because I'm still in the boot.
So you're not wearing it yet?
Well, I put it on last night. I thought that you could remove some of the weight bags. Like I thought it was adjustable. So I ordered the 16-pound one so that I could remove some weights. And then as I got stronger, got used to it, I could add weights.
Is it not adjustable?
But guess what? It's not adjustable. So
oh my gosh, Mom.
I put it on last night. And at first I was like, oh, this isn't bad. And I wore it around just like turning the bed down, washing my face, doing just regular tasks. And I was out of breath. So anyway, so we'll see. I told Dad when I'm done with my boot, we can walk together and he'll be able to keep up with me because, usually I walk so fast that Dad can't keep up.
None of us can keep up with you.
Right. And so I said, I won't be able to walk as fast. And he said, oh, that's ridiculous. Yes, you will. You're still going to be able to walk so fast. You can't not walk fast. But I think in the 16-pound weighted vest, I'm going to struggle. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, Mom. Dang.
I know. It's like carrying around a heavy toddler.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I get home, am I just going to come in and see you like loading the dishwasher with your weighted vest on?
Maybe. Hey, I might order you one, then we can walk around together in them.
Yeah, do it.
Be great.
I'll walk around with you with a weighted vest.
I think it'd be great. So
yeah.
How's your running been going? Micah told me he's like, you've been running.
Yeah, I've been texting Micah about my running, being like, Micah, is this good? Am I doing a good job? At first, the first time I like ran and like did a whole, 5K, I was like, Micah, is this good? And he was like, and I was like, remember, I'm 23 years old. I looked up, this is an average time for a 23-year-old woman who's a beginning runner. And he was like, okay, then I guess it's good. But at first he was like, that's not good. And I was like, remember, I am older than you and I'm not a runner. I don't do cross country, but.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So.
It's funny. Well, we are going to walk the peach tree. So we've got to get in shape.
We've got to get ready.
I have a question for our podcast listeners.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. Okay, so I've noticed, like, I've been getting these notifications about boosting our posts for Crozier Girls on social media. And so I'm very curious if our podcast listeners would like for the Crozier Girls podcast just to stay like our little secret, or should we boost the post and invite more people into this secret club? If the listeners, have an opinion on that. So,
like, do we keep this an exclusive club, or
right?
Do we expand our reach?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because honestly, I'm kind of torn. I like our little exclusive club. I feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself. You know how people say that? Yes. I'm part of something greater than myself. What does that even mean? So, what is your thought on it?
Oh, I'm good either way. I don't care. I mean, we do have, $22 now, so I guess we can pay for some digital acquisition if we want.
Last night, I was out to dinner with some friends, and the subject of our intro and outro song came up, and Dad may or may not have found out how much we had to pay, and his chin hit the floor.
Also, how much I had to pay. I paid for that. That was my money.
Oh, you did? I thought I paid you some for it.
I don't think you ever paid me back. But and it's fine because you pay for everything else for the podcast, so I just kind of took that bullet. But,
Anyway, so that was kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah. What do people think of our intro outro song? Do they like it?
Miss Amy thought she loves it. She said it's so great.
Oh, good.
She loves it. She says it has a little bit of like 80s synthesizer vibe sound to it.
Yeah.
So she really likes it. I told her that was all you. You picked it. So
I did. Because it gives Gilmore Girls vibes somehow. It does. I don't know how, but it does.
So, did you see those reels I sent you about people who watch the same show over and over are more emotionally stable? That's why we're so emotionally stable.
The most emotionally stable person ever in the entire world.
We literally watch the same show over and over and over and over. So
yeah, it's crazy. Same shows, plural. Like, I just don't watch new shows often. I'm not good at it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, did we get any questions to our question box?
We did. Yeah, let's talk about the questions.
I tried to go and I don't even know how you see them. So I have no idea what these questions are.
That's okay. Okay, the first question from a listener is, if manna fell from heaven today, what modern snack would you pray it tastes like? Mom?
Oh, man. Oh, that's a question. Well, I would say if I was guaranteed not to have to go up in a pant size, it would probably be something. Well, if I'm not going to gain weight eating it, like if it's just this super heavenly snack that doesn't have any negative repercussions on my physical body, maybe like chocolate covered pretzels or what's that stuff Gaga makes at Christmas? The crack. the
no, you're not talking about white trash.
White trash.
White trash? Okay.
Yeah, that stuff's really good.
That stuff is good.
Peanut butter M&Ms. I love those. Mm-hmm. A salty one would probably be some type of probably jalapeno kettle cooked potato chip.
Oh, that's a good answer. A really good answer.
Yeah, I could probably come up with a lot more, but those would be my top. Yeah. Those would be my top choices.
So now you know what Melanie's favorite snacks are if you're wanting to.
However, I try really hard not to eat those because, like I said, they're not snacks from heaven and they do have negative repercussions on my physical body. So therefore, I try to eat things like hummus and
hummus
grapes
tastes good.
And cottage cheese. So
at least your grapes don't have a pit in them.
True. No seeds in my grapes. No seeds in my grapes. What about you? What would your snack be? Oh, I bet I know what yours would be.
Wait, what do you think it is?
I think yours would either be like Takis or Chester's hot fries.
Okay, I actually am not a big fan of Takis. I can only eat like 2 of them and then I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Okay,
but
it's Chester's hot fries.
Yes, Chester's hot fries easily. However, here's the thing. If manna is falling from heaven because that's the only thing we can eat, like that's what's happening, that would be hard for it to taste like Chester's hot fries because like you can only eat so much and then your mouth is on fire. So like, do I get milk as well? Like what also comes along with this manna?
Well, maybe there's water from a rock.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So
okay, yeah, that would be my answer.
If we're staying true to the biblical theme, I would say you'd probably get water from a rock. And maybe there's goat's milk because there were goats.
They could have had cows.
Or cows. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, doesn't have to be goat.
True.
I will say, though, I feel like manna probably didn't taste bad. Like, didn't it taste like honey? Isn't that what it says?
That's what it says, yeah. Tasted like honey.
So, I would be fine with just manna as it is, too. I love honey.
Bread with honey.
Yeah. Bread with honey, that's all I need to survive.
Full of gluten. Full of all the gluten we can take.
Yep. But, like, let's make it, like, bread from Europe, though, because it's better for you.
Oh, definitely. A nice croissant from your little corner market. Mm-hmm.
Or just, like, a loaf of sourdough. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Well, I would be curious what that particular listener, what their snack of choice would be. So
yeah.
maybe they'll let us know.
I think that was a really good question. I really like that question.
I like it too. Okay. Do you have any more?
Yeah. No, that was the only one that was asked.
That was the only one that you were asked?
Yeah, so shame on our listeners.
I thought I saw somewhere and I wasn't sure how to find it, but I thought it said like what is on your playlist or something.
Oh, mom.
Okay, I don't know.
That's okay. So on Instagram, it'll show your profile picture, and then the little like note, like thought bubble next to your profile picture. That's like you can click in and you can add what's on your playlist. That's not someone asking you what's on your playlist.
I feel like you're making fun of me right now.
No, I'm not. I just think that's so funny.
Okay.
What is on your playlist, Mom?
Podcasts, a bunch of podcasts. That's pretty much all I do anymore is listen to podcasts. However, I also have a really good hymns playlist that I listen to sometimes. And then the other day I put in, I can't remember why, but I put in a Whitney Houston song on Spotify and it started down a really good playlist. So it just like the algorithm was really good. Just some really good, fun, songs. So R.I.P. Whitney. She was one of my favorites.
Sad day.
Yeah, sad. Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown ruined her.
So true. So true. Let's take a moment of silence for Whitney. And the moment is over. Mom, what is your favorite podcast that you're listening to right now?
Well, I love my Big Boo cast. That's Sophie Hudson and Melanie Schenkel. They're my age, maybe a little bit older than me, and their kids are a little bit younger than you. And they just kind of like us. It's a lot of just nonsense, and it's fun to listen to. So it would be that one. Also, there's a podcast that the Gospel Coalition has put out, and it's called The Deep Dish. And I'm really, really, really enjoying that. It's the hosts are Courtney Doctor and Melissa Kruger.
Yeah, I've listened to that a few times before.
And it's excellent. They tackle deep topics and deep truths from Scripture, and there's just been some really good ones. And I was just looking to see the newest episode is out, and it's Social Media Wisdom and Warnings. So I'm anxious to listen to that one. Yeah. They have a really beautiful episode on aging and just how messed up our culture is in regards to aging, and how the Bible talks about aging. And so anyway, those would be probably my top two, with Hebron on the Go podcast actually really, really close. It's 1A, B, and C is how I would rate those.
Yeah, that's a good way to rank. Good way to rank them.
What's yours? What's your favorite podcast right now?
Well, my favorite podcast, not right now, but forever endeavor of all times, past, present, and future, is Giggly Squad. I would only recommend that to certain audiences. But it's just really funny. It's these two girls and they're best friends, and they're hilarious. One of them is a stand-up comedian, and then the other is a reality TV star, but she's actually so much more than that. And they're just so they're just like so amazing. And I got to see them live last year with one of my best friends, and it was so fun. So that's my number one podcast. Trying to think what else. I listen to the Bible recap almost every single day, because Tara Lee Cobble recaps the Bible, and I'm like reading through the Bible with the Bible recap. So highly recommend if you want to read through the Bible in a year, or just start now. We're in Kings and Chronicles. So anyways, I recommend the Bible recap. It's so good. I guess those would be the ones I listen to most regularly, other than Hebron on the Go, which we love. Big fans. So
okay, so we didn't get any more questions from our question box.
No, we only got one question from our question box. So you guys need to answer better next time. I put one of those on our Instagram.
We need more participation, so maybe you could put another one up. Maybe also perhaps it came at a time where, like, close to the weekend, people weren't.
They all viewed my story. They saw it. They just did not.
They didn't
answer.
Give us a question. Maybe maybe because we're such open books. What is there to ask? We pretty much tell.
Yeah, they're like, well, I could say this, but they're going to talk about it anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So true. So true. So true.
I didn't get this question in the question box, obviously, but I have had some people ask me, I guess more recently, just since we've started this podcast, just like friends of mine, just like express, I don't know, that they wish they were closer to their moms, or that they just feel like they have a hard time talking to their moms about things. So, Mom, I was curious, what would your advice be as a mom and a daughter? You're also a daughter. You have a mom. What would your advice be to a daughter who is like, I want to talk to my mom about things, but I'm scared to, or for whatever reason, they don't feel like they can? What would your advice be?
Wow, that's a big question. Obviously it's every single dynamic and relationship is different. So the way that you and I relate to each other is not the way, other people are going to relate to each other. So there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. But I do have a few things. I guess the first thing I would say is get to know your mom. Ask her questions about how her parents did things. Ask her what her life was like. What was her childhood like? show interest in her background, because the fact of the matter is, like, the way I parent is most likely, most of the time, a direct result of either wanting to emulate how I was parented, or if I didn't have good parents, it could be I don't want to be like them, and I want to do the total opposite. You see what I'm saying? So your upbringing and your background is, I feel like that's a really key part in how all of us live our lives as adults. So I would say get to know her. I remember the moment that I found letters that my mom and dad had written back and forth to each other when my dad was stationed at the Pentagon. And Gaga, they weren't married yet. And so it just kind of gives you some insight into, wow, she was young and a girly, she wasn't always
Aww.
A mom.
Wait, that's so cute. I want to read these letters.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to get them out next time we're over at Pop and Gaga's. And then also, like, I found their yearbooks, and that was a great source of entertainment for me. I laughed so hard at some of the comments, things that people had written, like someone had written in Gaga's yearbook, I can't wait till we move to the beach together and are beach bums forever, from one of her girlfriends. Like,
wait, that's so cute.
That was Gaga's dream, was to be a beach bum. So, which is
and
hilarious.
she still goes to the beach every single year with her beach ladies, and I love that.
She does. So I just think get to, show interest in who your mom was before she was a mom. Ask questions about her life in college. You can learn a lot about your mom doing that. And you may find that you have more in common than you think you do. Does that make sense?
Like almost like remembering, like, your mom is not just a mom. Like, she's also a normal human being who, like, has thoughts and interests and things going on outside of just, like, parenting you.
Right. Yeah. So I think that would be one suggestion. The next thing I would say is if you're a young adult out of college, you're on your own, you're pretty much self-sufficient financially, your parents aren't supporting you anymore. I know for me and Dad, we don't want to be those parents that are overbearing. Like, we don't want you to be, oh, my parents, they're constantly butting in, they're constantly offering advice, they're telling me how to live, blah, blah, right? And so it's at this point where we kind of try to pull back a little bit and not offer as much advice. So I would say ask for her advice, because that helps her to know, like, okay, she really still values me as a mom. I mean, it's hard when you guys grow up and you launch out on your own, and your parents have invested 20 plus years in you, and you've been really a huge part of their lives. It's hard for them to just let you go. And so just showing them, like, I still feel like you're valuable to me. I still need your advice. Parents, they've lived longer than you, and they have a lot to offer. And so ask their advice. You don't have to take it, but it just helps them to feel.
But you probably should.
Maybe, but not always. I mean, not always. But it gives your mom permission to say the things that maybe she's holding back because she doesn't want to be considered pushy or overbearing. So I would say ask your mom advice. And if she does tend to be the person who's super overbearing, ask her advice in really small, insignificant things. But it's still giving her that clue that you still care and you still want to know what she thinks. Does that make some sense? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. That's really good.
And then I think the last thing I would say is invite your mom to do something fun with you. Think of something that you two could go do together that she would enjoy. I feel like sometimes it's always about these serious conversations, but doesn't just have fun. Go do something fun. It would be even better if it's something that your mom enjoys. If your mom enjoys gardening, see if she wants to go walk around a botanical gardens with you. If she is a foodie, see if she wants to make a pasta making class with you. Just something that shows like, I still value you and I want to spend time with you. And I think that would just go a long way in, you know, helping her to see that it's okay for us to have fun together. I'm older now. You don't just have to be my parent. Like, we are at the stage where we can be friends now. You know, there's a time for that. And when you're young and you're growing up, you have to be really careful about wanting to be your friend and be cool, because we need to make sure we're being parents first. But at the stage of life that you're at, it's definitely appropriate to be friends with your mom. So, yeah, those three things come to mind. I don't know. There could be others, but I would say that that's a good place to start.
That's really good advice, Mom.
Well, thanks.
I'm filing that away, too.
Okay.
Do I ask you enough questions about your life?
I mean, we've definitely had conversations about things and, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something you don't think about until then. But I think it's important because you learn a lot about your parents when you ask them questions about their life before they had kids, or even before they had each other, before they were married, when they were in high school. What did you like to do? What kind of activities? You know, did you have other boyfriends before you met Dad? Right? Things like that. You just learn a lot. So
yeah, that's so true. Yeah. I will say, I feel like the older I get and the less you give me advice, the more I find that I want to ask you for advice, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So
no, that makes complete sense. About, but yeah, I remember one time having to go to Gaga and just apologize for how ornery and frustrating of a child I was, especially in like the early teen years, because I was dealing with that and it was hard and frustrating. And I remembered being a 13-year-old who was very disrespectful at times when I spoke to my parents and, didn't always use the best tone and all of these things. And I remember having to go to her and just say, I'm so sorry. Now I understand. So I think that's part of it. As you grow up, you start to understand a little bit more about your parents and,
Yeah. Did you go to her and apologize for that when you were dealing with your own ornery teenage daughter? Is that when?
Yes, that is when.
I knew it.
Yep. And then I probably did it again when my 2 teenage sons came through. So, yep.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Just recently, Dad and I cleaned out my storage room area in the basement, my storage room, and I threw all my yearbooks away. So except my senior yearbook. So you can't look through my yearbooks, but
sad.
Anyway, I know.
You should have asked me first before you did that.
Well, I didn't even think about it. And then you asked me this question and I was like, oh yeah, I remember finding Gaga's yearbooks and they were so interesting. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Did you and Dad ever write letters to each other?
We didn't. I wish we had. We never really lived like in other states. And, we had telephones. We didn't have cell phones when we first started dating, but we had landline. So we would call on the phone, but we didn't write letters, which that makes me kind of sad. You think about history and all we know about George Washington and the Revolutionary War and all these things, it comes from letters that they all wrote to each other. And so it does kind of make me sad that we don't write letters anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I've written lots of letters. I've gotten letters while I've been here. So some people still do. But yeah,
the art of letter writing is a thing of the past for sure. So
for sure.
Anyway. But good question. I like that. That's a good question. What would you say? Yeah. What advice do you give when people ask you that question?
I feel like I've had this conversation with a lot of friends who are we're just moving out for the first time and just in different stages of our lives for the first time, friends who are getting married and et cetera, et cetera. And big life-changing moments can often put a strain on some of your relationships just because things are new and different and changing. And I think one thing that I've told friends who've expressed frustration with their parents is I just told them, have grace with your parents, with your mom. She doesn't know how to handle this, just like you don't know how to handle this. This is her first time having a daughter get married, just like it's your first time being married and having to still have a relationship with your parents. You're both going through this new together in different ways, obviously. But so she needs to have grace with you, and you need to have grace with her and understand that this isn't easy for her. It's not easy for you. So I think that's one thing that's come up recently just in conversations.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's really good advice. And, you know, the other thing, and I've had to say this, I think I've had to say this to you before. I know I've said it to McKinney. This is our first time doing this. So we don't know what we're doing, and we're going to make mistakes. And so, yeah, we need you to show us grace. And likewise, we're going to show grace to you when maybe you don't always make the best choices or the choices that honor us. And so it's hard. Like I said before, as your friends, especially that have gotten married, their parents are probably trying really hard to let them make choices, live their lives, figure out the rhythms of their life as a married couple. And so they're trying not to overstep. It's really easy for parents to overstep when their kids are first married. And so just knowing that if it feels like they're pulling back from you, it's probably because they're just really trying to honor your marriage and not overstep. And so going back to one of the suggestions I'd made was ask for their advice, ask for their help.
Because you still need it.
You do still need it. And you do have to be careful. Like, I remember when we first got married, I would want to call Pop and ask him, Pop, Dad, can you come over and hang this picture on the wall? Or can you come over and fix this thing? Because that's what
Dad would be like, I'm sorry, what about me?
Exactly. And so, but actually what would happen is Pop would say, I think Robbie can do that. And so I'm so grateful that he was wise enough to know, like, you have a husband now, and you don't need to rely on me anymore. You're now your husband's responsibility, and you need to rely on him for those things. And there were plenty of times where Robbie was like, call your dad, get him to help, because I don't know how to do that, right? And Dad was always so willing and good about that, and I don't think he ever felt like competition with my father. But that's also a very common thing when girls, young women have gotten married, is for them to go back to their dads instead of, realizing, like, hey, this is a new era, and really you need to be leaning on your husband too. So
yeah, that did make me think of something else I feel like is important, though, is like, just because you are moved out on your own or away at college or you're married doesn't mean you can't call your parents. Like, in that situation, yes, you should have obviously asked Dad to hang the picture before Pop, but like, that doesn't mean you can't still call your parents and ask for advice. Like, I feel like sometimes I get super prideful and I'm like, no, I can do this on my own. I'm on my own. I'm independent. I live in an apartment. I pay rent, whatever it is. But like, I can still call you, and I should still call you. I'm still going to be calling you for advice until one of us is in the grave. So
right.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah. I mean, that's why, the pillows when kids go off to college are so popular. Call your mom, text your mom, it's true. Call your moms, call your dads. It's okay. They want to hear from you.
Yeah. So. It's okay to still need them. That's even if you're married, even if you're moved out, like, it's okay to still need your parents. So
definitely. And they are so happy when you call and ask them for help. They are ready and willing to jump through any hoops, probably, to help you in any way they can.
Good conversation.
Well, Dad's up here. He's in the middle of some payment calculations, so we don't want to mess that up. So anyway,
both of you are hard at work right now at your jobs.
We are hard at work. One of us is making money, one of us is not.
Well, Mom, we have made $22.
So. $22. So,
well, I guess it's like 18 now because we used 4
for one of our episodes for this episode.
Episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, good. Well, oh, here comes Dad. Hi. Do you have any advice to give about children launching out of the nest?
Advice? I'm not really in an advice mode right now. I'd have to think through that. It's Sunday afternoon.
You're a dad. You're a parent. You always have to be in advice mode.
Is that what you think parenting is? We're always in advice mode? I got some news for you, young lady. In an optimal, perfect world, we'd always be in this great, wise advice mode, but...
Well, it seems like you are to me.
Human. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm faking it till I make it, right?
Especially when you guys come into our room at like 11 o'clock at night and we are real close to going to sleep and you want to have these in-depth conversations. That's when it always happens. And Dad and I are just, oh, man, it's bedtime.
That's because that's our time to shine. That's our prime awake time. That's when we're doing our most thinking, you know?
Well, it sure isn't our prime awake time at 11 o'clock at night. We've used up all of our wisdom and our thoughts and our brain power for the day, usually by well before 11 o'clock, right? Yeah.
Rebekah, do you remember your freshman year of college? You called us. It was a Sunday night. And there's something about Sunday nights that are even more like we need to get to bed and start the week off with a good night of sleep, right? You called me at, I don't know, it was probably 10:30 at night on a Sunday. And you wanted to find out what Dad and I thought about Reformed theology because someone had invited you.
That is true. You sure did.
I don't remember that being 11 at night.
Well, it was like 10:30 our time, like 9:30 your time because you were over at Sanford. But I think you texted both of us, and I turned to Mom and I said, "This one's yours. I'm going to bed."
Mom, I don't even think you gave me. Okay, I don't even think you did give me an answer, but you were just like, "There's a book. I'm going to send you a book," and you just like sent me a book to read.
I actually texted Pastor Landon that night, and I said, "Hey, check out this question I just got." But he gave us a couple of recommendations for a couple of good books for you to read about Reformed theology.
I didn't know that. Okay.
No, we did discuss it. We discussed it for a good solid hour and a half. But it was one of those things where I had thoughts and opinions on it, but I didn't want to try to convince you one way or the other on the topic. I wanted you to do your research. And looking back,
I know that now because, it's just funny that I never knew where you guys stood on any of that until I learned that stuff on my own in college. And then came to my own realizations, you know?
Which is really ultimately, I mean, that's what you want as a parent. You want your kid to seek out answers to deep theological questions and come to your own convictions. I don't want you to have my convictions. I want the Holy Spirit and His Word and the Word of God, the Bible, to convict you in that on your own.
You said you didn't know where we stood on Reformed theology at that time. Do you now?
Yes, I do. I think I do at least.
Should be reserved for a whole other episode. Where do Robbie and Melanie stand on Reformed theology? TBD.
That is not this podcast.
Yeah, that is not.
People are going to tune in for the next episode just to hear that.
Oh.
Well, they probably would be disappointed. I gotta go finish sending this email.
Okay. All right. Dad's out.
Dad is busy. He's working.
Peace out, Dad. I know.
Love you, sweetie.
Busy.
Bye.
Anyway, wasn't expecting that, but that was fun.
Yeah, that was funny. I didn't even realize. I didn't even register in my head. Like, oh, it's like 11 p.m.
Of course you didn't.
When I'm sending this question.
That's exactly the point. It happens all the time where you guys are wanting to have these deep conversations at, bedtime. But anyway, yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Well, thank you for answering.
We survived. Well, I think it's time for us to wrap up. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do you have a high point or a low point, or shall I?
My high point has been recording this podcast episode with you, Mom. I love when we do fun things together.
I told you guys, did I say this on the pod or just to some friends that we know we're going to do high point and low point every single week. And then it comes time to do it. And we both just
sit here and stare at each other.
Because we haven't thought of anything.
Yeah, literally.
So anyway, that's funny. Dad and I had a fun Friday night, a little high point. We had Mr. and Miss Grunlock over and Hudson because we just don't get to see them much. And so they came over and Hudson swam. He is 6 years old now, and that boy is talking in paragraphs, not sentences, paragraphs. It's hilarious. He is so funny. He is so funny. I know.
Wait, I can't believe he's 6. That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. So anyway, so that was fun. We had a good time with them on Friday night. Dad and I had a fun dinner with friends last night. You know where we ate was the Four Elephants in Flowery Branch, where you and I ate with Haley.
Oh yes,
downtown Flowery Branch.
The Laotian place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so fun.
It was very good food. Oh my goodness. It was really, really good. So that was great. We were there for 4 hours.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I know. You know, it's a fun dinner, good conversation when you're there for 4 hours and then someone finally has to say, okay, guys, we've got to go home. I mean, the restaurant closed. And so we went out and sat outside and on the furniture outside and still kept talking. So it was just really a nice night. So.
I feel like you guys have been having lots of fun times with friends recently.
Well, we have, and it's only going to get increased because, you know, Micah's going to be going off to college, and then it's going to be me and Dad. So I did tell Miss Hartsock I want us to learn how to play Mahjong. And, yeah.
Mahjong?
Yeah,
oh, like
Mahjong.
The actual game, not the phone game.
Right. Like Crazy Rich Asians, you know, little tiles, Mahjong, you know, in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want me and Miss Hartsock to learn, and then we'll teach, you know, Dad and Ben, and then we'll get together and we'll play Mahjong.
Okay.
So, anyway.
I like it.
And anyone can join that wants to. So, and if anybody knows how to play and wants to teach us, please let me know. So.
Nice.
Anyway, and then I guess my low point would be, can't think of one.
She has no low point. That's good.
I mean, honestly, probably my low point was just forgetting my sweater, which is so lame.
Okay.
So, anyway.
That's valid.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cold in church.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're thinking about it the whole time in church. You're freezing. Yeah. I get it.
It's true. Oh, we're so lame. Okay, what do you have?
My high point was church this morning. I haven't been in a few weeks just because I've been traveling like every weekend, which is really fun. And I'm glad that I live in a place where I can go travel around Europe, and it's great. But like, I when I am traveling over the weekends, like I feel that I'm missing. I feel it when I miss going to church. And I think Landon actually said this on a podcast episode forever ago, but he said nothing can replace gathering together with believers. And, you know, even if it's still kind of a new church to me and I only know a few people, it's this, you know, it's still the same. We're singing the same worship songs, and I'm still gathering with fellow believers, and I feel that. I feel like we're a faith family, even though I'm only here temporarily, and I, you know, I'm still new and all that stuff. So it just was good to be back and see some friends, and yeah, it was just good. So.
I love that. I think it's also maybe a good time to say this about the importance because there are some girls that listen to our podcast that are about to go to college, some that are next year going to college. So on that same topic of like gathering with your faith family and making that a priority, what advice would you give to these girls that are heading off to college soon?
Oh, that's a loaded question because I feel like I actually have a lot of advice. Okay, well, the first thing I would say is make it one of the first things you do, one of the first weekends that you are moved away and in that new town off at college, to go visit a church. Because if you don't start that and keep that momentum going as soon as you move there, and I know it's scary because you're in a new place, you don't know what the churches are, maybe you don't have a friend to go with you, like it is scary. But if you take like months off because you're nervous to go try a new church, like you are going to lose that momentum, and you're going to tell yourself like, oh, it's not that important, you're going to lose that momentum from going to the same church every Sunday with your parents. And so I think, if it's not your first weekend there, your second weekend, you're going to go find a church. And even if it's your friend is going to the church and you don't know anything about this church, you're just going to go with your friend, like that is still great. And so I think that should be a priority, is like finding a church, hopping around, visiting different churches, asking friends if you can go with them, that kind of thing. And just start that as soon as you possibly can when you get to college.
That's
and
good.
And then I think my other piece of advice would be when you're at college, and it depends on where you go, but most schools have on-campus ministries, which are great. Like you'll find BCM, you'll find maybe RUF or campus outreach, or one of those ministries. I guarantee you, whatever school you're at, they'll have one of them. And those ministries are great. They're a great opportunity to meet other people from your college that are Christians and want to meet for Bible study or worship or whatever. Those are great. But I think one thing that I've seen just a lot of college students do over the years is make campus ministries their church. And that is not church. Those things cannot replace church. You're gathering with your fellow college students for maybe a campus worship once a week, and that's great. I think it's amazing, and you should absolutely do that. But it's not the same as going to a church outside of your college and being surrounded by people of all generations, serving with a church, and meeting new people who don't go to your college. That's so important, is kind of getting outside of the bubble of your university. And so I think that's one thing that I think campus ministries are great, but I think that all campus ministries should point to those students who are coming. They should point them to a local church and be like, hey, are you guys going to a church on Sunday? Because that is even more important than coming to this campus ministry. So I think that's another thing I would just caution students who are going to college is
that's good.
Absolutely get involved with those things, but make sure that you're not making that your church.
That's
those
really
are my
good.
pieces of advice.
That's really good. Okay, well, that was a really good high point, and it launched a really good discussion. So, see, that's why we do high point and low point. It worked at our dinner table, and it works on our podcast. Okay, do you have a low point?
My low point is that my new AirPods don't have the same charging port as my phone. So now it's like a whole new cord. Charging ports. Why can they not all be the same? That's my gripe.
That's a good low point. Yeah, because you and I still have the iPhone that has the weird port. It's not a USB-C. And I bet
it's not a weird port. It's the port they've had since the iPhone 1 launched. Why are we changing it?
No. This is at least the second port for the iPhone. The iPhone had a different port originally. This is a whole... Okay. Back in the day, I had a... Yeah.
Maybe that's true, but this is the one I think I've always had, so...
Well, it may be, but it's not the one they've always had. So, yeah, that's a good low point because that's annoying. I'm sorry about that. It's just one more cord you have to take when you're traveling.
I know. It's like I can't bring one cord and charge everything. Now I have to have different cords, and it's so annoying.
So annoying. Yeah. That's actually good job. Well done. Well done coming up with a good low point, daughter.
Thank you.
It's great. It's great. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our discussion. So,
yep.
Anyway.
Good discussion. Thanks for your good, wise advice, Mom.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.